Hey guys, thinking about your first backpacking trip but you don't know how to get started? Don't worry, I've got you covered with the simple steps you need to get trail ready. Backpacking is such an amazing way to explore the outdoors, test your limits, and have some epic adventures. But trying to figure out everything for your first trip, it can be a little tricky. Not to worry, in this video I'll help you plan your first backpacking trip step by step. Let's do this. All right, step one, choose a trail that works for you. If you're new to hiking, think about something beginner friendly. One night, maybe 2 nights tops. Plan for maybe 5 to 8 miles per day with little to no elevation gain. Trust me, the last thing you want on your first trip is to choose a trail that's too hard or involves too much climbing and you get burnt out before your first night. Next, pay attention to the season. In the winter, a trail that you've been eyeing might be buried in 3 feet of snow. In summer can mean intense heat or bugs. Usually spring and fall are the best times to hit the trail, but it ultimately depends on where you live. Apps like AllTrails and Gaia GPS are awesome for trail reviews. Hikers share all kinds of helpful information, like where to find water, what campsites are best, and what the conditions are like. Permits or even special gear might be required, but I'll get into that more in a bit. Creating your itinerary. Okay, now that you've got your trail picked out, it's time to plan your route. Start by figuring out where you're starting and ending, and then break it down day by day. For most beginners, 5 to 8 miles a day is pretty solid. It's enough to feel like you're accomplishing something, but not too much to push you beyond your limits. When choosing your campsites, look for ones that are close to water sources so that you can refill your bottles without having to hike extra miles. And always have a backup plan because sometimes campsites can fill up, or maybe they just aren't as great looking as they seemed on the map. I recommend planning to hit camp at least 1 to 2 hours before dark, giving you enough time to set up, cook, and relax. And don't forget to build in time for breaks, taking photos, and just soaking it all in. And once you've finalized your itinerary, don't forget to share it with someone back at home, just in case. Permits and regulations. All right, with your route set, it's time to tackle something equally as important: permits and regulations. This can make or break your trip if you're not prepared. For popular spots like national parks, permits are usually required to manage crowds and protect the area. And yeah, these can sell out fast, often 6 months in advance. So don't wait, check availability as soon as you pick your trail. When you apply for your permit, you'll usually need to know things like your start date, where you're camping, and how many people are going with you. Be accurate with this stuff because rangers do check. Also, every park has its own rules. Some require bear canisters, others don't allow fires, and some parks even require you to pack out everything. So double check all that stuff ahead of time so you don't get hit with a fine or even worse, get turned away at the trailhead. Gear essentials. All right, guys, your gear can make or break your trip. So let's talk about the big 3: your backpack, your shelter, and your sleep system. Stick with a 40 to 60 liter backpack. It's big enough for a multi-day trip, but it's not so huge that you'll overpack and carry too much weight. For sleeping, grab a bag rated to about 10 to 15 degrees colder than the forecasted lows. Pair that with either a closed foam or an inflatable sleep pad for comfort and to keep you off the ground. And make sure your pad has the proper R value for the temperatures you're expecting. Sleep pads are not just about comfort, they're also crucial for keeping you warm from the cold ground. Food and water planning. All right, let's talk about food because this is a big one. You want high calorie, lightweight stuff like freeze-dried meals, trail mix, beef jerky, or energy bars. Plan for about 2,500 to 3,000 calories per day, but adjust depending on how much hiking you're doing. And here's a pro tip. Use an online backpacking calorie calculator like this one to figure out how much food you should be bringing. The link is below in the description. You'd be amazed how much calories you can actually burn after carrying a heavy pack for miles and miles, not to mention just the physical stress of actually setting up your campsite. So always bring a little extra food. And don't forget snacks. Granola bars, dried fruit, or even some chocolate or candy can provide a needed extra boost when you're pushing through a long hike. And for all you coffee drinkers out there, instant coffee packets are an excellent way to kickstart your morning. For water, know your sources before you head out. Streams and lakes are usually reliable, but always check the current water conditions. And be sure to filter or purify your water. Don't risk it. Aim to carry at least 2 liters of water while hiking and refill every chance you get, especially if it's hot or dry. Hydration is critical out there. Clothing and footwear. Let's talk about what to wear on your backpacking trip. The layering system is where it's at. Start with a base layer that wicks sweat. Add a mid layer like a fleece or a down jacket for warmth, and top it off with a waterproof and windproof shell to keep you dry. Oh, and avoid cotton. That stuff will get wet, it'll get cold, and it takes forever to dry out. That's not what you want out there. For pants, choose something lightweight. You can go with hiking pants or shorts, depending on the weather, and always pack a spare set to change into at camp. When it comes to footwear, go with hiking boots or, my personal favorite, trail runners, and make sure they're broken in. Blisters can ruin your trip, so make sure to pack some blister treatment like Band-Aids, moleskin, or even just some Gorilla Tape. And what I personally do is wear liner socks underneath my regular socks, which is a pretty effective way to prevent blisters. Packing your backpack. Okay, you're ready to hit the trail. Let's talk about packing your backpack because there's definitely a right way to do it and a wrong way. Keep heavier stuff like your food and your tent close to your back and as centered as possible to balance the weight. Lighter things like your sleeping bag and your clothing should go at the bottom of your pack. Anything you need during the day like snacks, gloves, or your rain jacket goes at the top, or smaller things can go in side pockets so they're easier to grab. And here's another pro tip. Pack your entire backpack before your trip and go for a day hike. Adjust the weight distribution, experiment with your straps until everything feels balanced and comfortable. A well-packed bag is gonna be crucial for your hike to be enjoyable, so take a little bit of time to get it right. So there you go. I know that planning your first backpacking trip can feel like a lot, but when you break it down, it's totally doable. Nail the basics, your trail, your gear, and your preparation, and you'll be good to go. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions. Happy hiking, and I'll see you out there.